Welcome to From the Pages of Wrestling World, February 1986. And this is one of those issues that matters immediately because it captures professional wrestling at a moment where confidence is overflowing, stars are larger than life, and every promotion is convinced it has cracked the code to domination. And in this issue alone, we're talking about unstoppable tag teams, raging manias, patriotic alliances, wild challenges, rising contenders fighting for identity, regional power struggles, and a collection of ads that tell you exactly how wrestling fans lived, thought, trained, and spent their money in the mid-1980s. Before we even get into the personalities, the magazine plants its flag with rating the wrestlers, a full ranking of the top 50 wrestlers in the United States compiled by the Mattingly Sports Bureau. And this list does more than just name names. It establishes hierarchy, it creates arguments, and it gives fans ammunition because rankings like this were never neutral. They were conversation starters, territory defining statements that told readers who mattered and who was climbing, who was slipping, and who belonged in the same breath as champions. That conversation flows directly into Mat Mail, where readers make it clear that wrestling fandom is emotional, divided, and deeply invested, with letters praising heroes, tearing down champions, and debating promotions, reinforcing that magazines like Wrestling World were not just reporting on wrestling, they were hosting the conversation, giving fans a place to argue, defend, and declare loyalty. And if you ever mailed a letter and waited months to see it printed, you know exactly how powerful that felt. The issue then slams into one of its cornerstone features, the Road Warriors, beyond unbeatable, and the tone shifts immediately to fear and awe, as Animal and Hawk are portrayed not simply as champions, but as walking catastrophes, leaving total destruction and battered bodies behind them wherever they go. And under the guidance of Precious Paul Ellering, the AWA Tag Team Champions are framed as the most dangerous duo in the sport, a team that does not wrestle matches so much as survive battles. And the article leans heavily into the idea that nobody walks away from the Road Warriors unchanged. What makes this piece hit harder is the subtle acknowledgement that something is shifting, that crowds who once recoiled are now cheering, not because the Warriors have softened, but because fans respect dominance, and the message is clear. If you cannot beat them, you join them, and that idea runs through the entire mid-'80s wrestling boom, where power and inevitability often mattered more than technique. From there, the issue pivots straight into cultural overload with Hulkamania Rages On, a feature that treats Hulk Hogan not just as a champion, but as a phenomenon, a towering kingpin whose popularity continues to grow as millions of fans demand more. And the article reinforces that Hogan has moved beyond wrestling into something bigger, with television appearances, movies, cartoons, merchandise, and an image so strong it feels unshakable. And this is Hogan at the height of his run, positioned as the gravitational center of the WWF universe. Then the issue detonates into chaos with David Schultz sounds off, a candid interview with Dr. D that feels barely contained, as Schultz throws out outrageous demands, including his infamous desire to fight Hulk Hogan on an aircraft carrier out at sea, a line that perfectly captures his uncontrollable persona, loud, aggressive, and completely unconcerned with realism. And whether you laugh or shake your head, it fits the era where spectacle often mattered more than logic. The AWA answers that dominance with Greg Gagne Salutes Sergeant Slaughter, a feature built on patriotism and alignment, framing Greg Gagne's association with Slaughter as a mutually beneficial union, blending speed and athleticism with military intensity, and positioning both men as warriors fighting under the same banner, a reminder that alliances mattered, that stables mattered, and that presentation could elevate a wrestler just as much as wins and losses. The tone shifts again with Kendall Windham's stalk success in the jungle of reality, a profile focused on identity, as Kendall works to escape the shadows of being labeled Blackjack Mulligan's kid or Barry Windham's little brother, targeting Kevin Sullivan in the Florida heavyweight title as proof that he belongs on his own terms. And this piece grounds the issue, reminding readers that not every battle is about gold, some are about legitimacy. That introspection carries into Mean Mike Heads for the Hills, where the Pacific Northwest brawler is framed not as someone retreating, but as an outdoorsman clearing his head, emphasizing that mental readiness is part of survival in wrestling, and that stepping away can be a form of preparation, not surrender. And then there are the ads, because the ads are essential, not filler, and this issue is loaded with them. From muscle-building promises and bodybuilding shortcuts to mail-order games, fan merchandise, self-improvement schemes, pen pal services, lottery dreams, and wrestling-themed products, all selling the same underlying message that you can be stronger, richer, more confident, more connected, and more powerful if you just send away a few dollars and believe. And these ads are a time capsule of wrestling fandom where strength, masculinity, opportunity, and fantasy were all part of the package. Why does this issue matter? Because it captures wrestling at peak self-belief when promotions were loud, stars were mythic, fans were deeply invested, and magazines like Wrestling World were the connective tissue holding it all together, documenting a moment when wrestling felt unstoppable. We promise dominance, personality, and regional heat at the top, and Wrestling World delivers all of it here, loud, confident, and unapologetic. A snapshot of wrestling when belief was everything. We are out of time, so farewell from the Empire State. This is from the pages. If this episode brought something back for you, drop a comment telling me which feature hit hardest, the Road Warriors' dominance, Hulkamania's grip, or Dr. D's chaos. Hit like if wrestling magazines were part of your fandom. Share this with someone who lived through this era, and subscribe so you do not miss the next issue, because there is a lot more history waiting in these pages. Momentum continues with Cowboy Bob is Riding High, where Bob Orton is portrayed as a heavyweight with a singular obsession, Hulk Hogan inside a steel cage, no excuses, no escape, and no two ways about it, and Orton is framed as rough, ready, and relentless, the kind of challenger designed to test whether Hulkamania can survive brutality. And this is classic 80s storytelling, simple goals, clear threats, and a promise of violence.